What's up, guys? Welcome to BitCast episode 54 for the week of March 25th, 2018. I'm your host, Jake Martin, and in the studio this week, we have the world's favorite person, Cameron Betts.
World's favorite person. I don't know about that, but thank you for having me on the show.
Oh, absolutely. So if you are watching the video portion of this, we have a new 6 setup going on right now. With behind me, we have a black curtain that we changed out in place of the gray one, and I've also got a little nice key light going above us. So we got some nice looking hair now, which is really the most important thing.
Absolutely, since we're both losing it.
Yes, exactly. So you guys can see how quickly our hair will go away, episode by episode. That's so sad. So anyways, this week we are going to be talking about the most relevant news of the week. And I'm sorry, it's been about 2 weeks, so we are a little bit behind in some of this stuff, but still worth talking about. And then Far Cry 5 comes out tomorrow, or if you're listening to this on Tuesday when it releases, it'll come out today.
Yeah.
And so
we're talking into the future.
How we're talking about it. We haven't played it, so we're just here really talking about it, just kind of seeing all what goes into it and our decisions on whether or not we're purchasing it and all that fun jazz. But first, quick housekeeping. Make sure to leave reviews on iTunes. I'm going for iTunes right now just because I love reading those off on the show. So if you are a listener of this podcast, please go to iTunes on your phone or on the actual desktop, and you can leave reviews there. It's actually a really complicated process, but if you do that, it'll be greatly appreciated. Isn't that right, Cameron?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, did you tell him to follow you already, or is that till?
Oh yeah, you gotta follow me. You gotta follow me on the old FBs, but also
I don't follow you on FB anymore.
It's fine. Yeah, you don't have Facebook. That's fine. That's fine.
Great. If you still have Facebook and you don't not have it anymore, you should get rid of it.
Yeah, you know what? Facebook does a lot of things wrong, but I'll tell you what, I'm the only person I think doing things right on Facebook. So you should follow BitBloggist only. And just talk to me on there.
Hey, interesting side note on that, since we're kind of in the technology world here. Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple, actually denounced Facebook today. I wouldn't say he denounced it. He just kind of didn't really, voice his vocal support for it.
So have you noticed all these like terms of service things coming in
on Facebook?
But just across the board, I'm getting emails from like different companies saying,
"Hey." It seems like a lot of people are updating the terms of service, and I wonder if it's got something to do with all that.
It's got to be. It's probably like a bunch of legal jargon saying like, "Hey,
we stole your information, but now we've made it to where you can't sue us."
Yeah, it's like this was something you agreed in the contract to, or now it is you agreeing to. So, sorry. I don't know. I just noticed that because I think I got one today from Venmo. Even Venmo was like, "Hey, we're getting the terms of service upgrade," and I was like, "Oh."
That might be because they're still working on that instant transfer stuff, which is pretty good. It's a pretty good deal.
I wonder what's going to happen when like Apple releases their like Messenger Pay thing, because I feel like that's going to be so much easier than Venmo. Just
you think so?
Right there, you're texting somebody, it's like, boom, here you go.
Yeah. I like Venmo though too. If anything,
it can't get much easier, honestly.
They should buy the service that Venmo has if they haven't already figured out how to incorporate it into the messaging apps.
They got to figure it out. If they're doing Apple Pay, they probably got to figure it out. So if you guys didn't see this, Eric Higgins and I were jamming on the old Twitch.tv the other day, playing A Way Out, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But if you want to catch what games we're playing, usually we'll stream on the weekends. Saturday or Sunday are better days for us because that's when they're most free. But yeah, if you guys like watching people play games, you should check us out there. Now, Cameron, I know you said that you are watching a bit more, some Twitch, and we'll talk about that in a second, actually, probably about what you're playing. But actually, I guess, drink of the show, before we go into what you're playing, we're drinking some nice Jake's Java Hut lattes.
It's very good.
Thank you.
I'm very impressed.
Yeah, and this coffee is from Aldi, actually.
Okay. All right. Solid coffee, Aldi.
Oh, it's delicious. It really is very good. So that leads into our next question, or our last segment before the news. Cameron, what are you playing right now, brother?
Okay. All right. I got a few things I'm playing right now.
Okay. SimCity Build It.
You're not going to let me live it down. I'm not playing SimCity Build It. I'm currently playing. I do have Monument Valley too on my iPhone though.
Very cool game.
We're going to talk about iPhone games. So far it's been good. Trying to kind of pace myself through it since last time I kind of rushed through it, beat it really fast, and then after that you can't really replay it.
Monument Valley is a one and done kind of experience, really.
Definitely, it's a good $5.
It's really neat. The puzzles aren't like overly challenging. Like you'll figure them out within like 5 minutes. You're like, okay, I get it.
And the music's good too.
Yeah, music's super good. And it's funny because a lot of these games now are saying like recommended to wear with headphones. I just downloaded two iPhone games today. This is big for me because I don't play a lot of iPhone games or iOS games. Reigns.
Okay.
Have you heard of this one before? It's kind of like Tinder for like being a king. So you're basically like a king and you have to make decisions like yes or no decisions essentially. Okay. And people will approach you and you're trying to keep these different sects like SECTS happy. And there's like a religious area. There is the militia. There's the people. And then there's your money. And so you have to like balance all of these things by saying yes and no to certain things, and it's actually like it's really hard. And there's like some funny things that happen there. And Reigns has been a game that people have known about for a while, but I just recently felt inspired to buy something. I was like, you know what, I could do it for a good phone game here pretty soon. So that's in this game called Florence, which I have not played yet.
Okay,
but from what I've heard, it's very cool. Where basically it's a focus on the story of these two people that are going through a relationship, and you see like the starting parts of it and then like middle parts and then the end. And it's very clever in how it makes you interact with it, and like it tells a story more than anything. It's more of like an interactive experience, but like if there's a segment where they're arguing and you have to like try and piece together like their arguments by like putting puzzle pieces in, and it is kind of like this thoughtful thing. Like when you are arguing, you have to like be very thoughtful about how you like say certain things and what you say. If you don't say the right thing, it doesn't fit, and then it makes person, you know. And it seems like a really cool game, and that one's also one that requires headphones, or like it's best with headphones. So cool. That'll be one that I probably pick up on like a Saturday or Sunday morning where I'm just like, I have time.
Bored and messing around on your phone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was a long segment on phone games, but continue.
Yeah, Monument Valley on the iPhone. And then going back to, you know, I think the last time I was on here with you guys was whenever Eric was talking about he just got in PUBG and he was playing it quite a bit, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And I was like, this will probably lead into me buying an Xbox and PUBG. And it definitely did not do that. It totally did. So I went out and bought an Xbox One and a 4K TV. It was an expensive weekend. And
really helping you save for those vacations.
Pretty happy about it. It's pretty awesome. But no, we are playing the crap out of PUBG. Sorry.
Thank you for not cursing, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, we are playing a lot of PUBG, and I love it, man. It is an adrenaline rush. It is always, the map's always the same. I know they're updating, and as Bluehole continues to update the game, it is getting better. It is getting less frustrating.
I forgot it's Bluehole. Yeah.
Is
it Bluepoint or Bluehole?
It's Bluehole. It's a Bluehole company, or I'm sorry, it's PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. I think is the name of the developer.
But the person that's porting it to mobile is different.
And then a Bluehole company is who owns them. Anyways, we've been playing a lot of that. PUBG is super fun. There's another competitor out there. It starts with an F.
Yeah, it's on this. It's in the news segment.
Foreplay,
dude. I cannot get Fortnite out of the damn news feeds. Like Fortnite is everywhere.
It is unbelievable. I mean, PUBG had it for a while. I mean, it really did, and it still does some. But now it's all Fortnite.
But not to this degree.
No,
I don't think
it's annoying.
It's too much.
Yeah,
it's.
Have you ever watched that ninja guy play it? Because he probably is still, as we're speaking right now, he's probably sitting on his Twitch channel talking about it.
Oh yeah, and he's making $500,000 like a month.
Ridiculous. Freaking
so he's doing all right, I think, for himself. It's just it blows my mind. And what's cool about his story is he had started out not being that prominent of a streamer. I think he had gotten famous playing Halo. He had gotten famous playing Halo so long ago, and he was very good at Halo. And I think he kind of just went quiet for a while. But here recently with Fortnite, and because of just how many people have access to it because it's free, and now with a mobile game, it is just insane how many people are watching him play and how just big Fortnite is in general.
Have you watched him play?
No, he's incredibly good. I've seen a few of his segments.
Well, I mean, just at any point in time, watch him play, and it is quite amazing how just. It's inhuman how fast he is.
Oh, he's so quick. Yeah, I'm watching him play.
You can't keep up with what
he's got to be on like all types of Adderall or something like that, where he's just like
just swallowing Adderall and lattes.
But he was on a stream with Drake and a couple other like big name athletes, and he's just killing it, man. And we'll talk about Fortnite a little bit, but it's just ridiculous.
What else was I going to say?
PUBG. how much you're enjoying that, how it's kind of like Fortnite.
It's great.
On mobile.
It's completely different from Fortnite. I'm not playing PUBG on mobile. I had Fortnite. We talked about this. I had Fortnite on mobile and I couldn't get it to work, and I haven't tried it again, so I have no idea how that runs. I won't comment on it.
From what I've heard from most people, it's pretty well balanced. Like it's pretty comparative to what you would play on console.
And then yesterday, actually, last night, I beat what?
No, I was just clearing my throat. Sorry.
Last night I beat Metro 2033 Redo.
Oh,
it was on sale one day
Redux?
on Xbox.
Redux or
It's Redo.
Okay.
RDUX.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay.
But yeah, I bought it and Metro Last Light were on sale, and it's a package deal anyway. So I bought those, and then I'd played Metro a long time ago, like I think after it first came out, and didn't beat the game. I think I got frustrated at one point.
Those are games that I think you definitely align with your play style. First person shooters, survivalist.
Yeah, it was good stuff. No, but it's a great game. Very interesting story. I'm gonna buy the book. I've been trying to find the book, but it's not in circulation. So I can try to go to McKay's and pick it up. The story is fascinating, and then I just started Metro Last Light.
Good old McKay's. Shout out to McKay's.
Yeah, it's great.
Bookstore. Sometimes it's great, sometimes it sucks. You gotta just go there on a day when you think it might have been restocked.
Yeah, that, and you gotta be able to deal with like 1,000 smelly people. Like kind of like
there are some stinky folks in there, man. There's some
through.
stinky folks in there, but they love reading. They love books. I'll tell you what.
Yeah. But as far as games I'm playing right now, I think that's everything.
Cool.
And then you want me to talk about my Twitch experience?
Yeah. So let's jump into Twitch.
I'll get.
Because it coincides with kind of like PUBG and stuff like that.
Sort of, yeah. So I'm not watching Fortnite or PUBG on Twitch. There is this.
What are you watching, Cameron?
There is this, and hopefully there's someone else out there that's ran across this. I've told Davis and Spencer both about it. There is this huge underground of like role players who love to play cops.
I remember you telling me about this now.
Dude, it is.
I forgot to check it out.
Unreal how many people are playing. There's several different we could call them developers, just like private developers that have put together these
content creators,
fully fledged. It's GTA. It's the base GTA game. Where they've gone in and they've created their own like civilians and cops system, and I mean they've got paramedics and firefighters too. And these dudes role play like to the T, trying to be like real fake police officers with the codes, with all of the lingo, everything.
That is so funny.
And they just drive around, they patrol the streets.
Do you think that some of these people are actually police officers? No.
No, I've heard some of them say that, and I'm like, there's no way in hell. There's no police officer has time to indulge themselves in this.
Well, that's what I was going to say, but like, so they've learned all the proper code for police officers, but they
even have dispatchers. They have people that are dispatching them onto calls and then reporting it, and they serve warrants.
Oh my gosh,
it is unbelievable. But I mean, it's stupid. It really is kind of stupid. But you get caught up in watching because you're just like, I can't believe that someone has this little of a life. That they're doing this.
Hey, it's not little life. It's just what they enjoy. There's people out there that play all kinds of stuff, but that is pretty funny.
Man, it is crazy.
I would get sick of that. I would get sick. Like I would maybe have fun with it for a couple of days and be like, yeah, I'm done. I'm over it now.
It's a good boring it's not boring. It's a good Twitch stream just like put on if you're like screwing around on your iPad, which is normally what I'm doing. Yeah. Other than that,
why not just listen to or just watch Cops?
You could watch Cops, but it's much funnier to watch these dudes with like really nerdy accents, like trying to be all hua and tough, you know?
Well, officers, this is over here recording and reading 911. I'm going to come over here and see you guys and make sure you're...
Like the other day, they pulled up to a gas station for it wasn't it was just like a robbery, right? And the criminal, the crim sim is what they call them.
Mm-hmm.
Little criminal character was a 9-year-old kid, or well, I say 9 years old. He sounded like he was about a 9-year-old kid. And so whenever the cop's like, "Come out with your hands up," and the kid's like, "Make me," and you're like, "Oh my gosh!"
No. And you're like, "I'm turning this off now. I'm just not going to watch this anymore."
That's pretty funny.
That is hilarious, and I'm glad that you told me about that. I do want to watch that because I've heard you mention it twice now.
Yeah, Family RP is the best one out there I've seen so far.
Okay. Well, for me, I am playing a few things. So I got A Way Out.
Yep.
And
I'm interested.
I'll talk about this, and I think Eric and I'll probably talk about it again once we've beaten the entire game. But it is we've kind of seen the similarities of like Heavy Rain meets I don't even know how to describe this storyline, but it is like
Kind of looked like Last of Us to me.
Yeah, Eric said that it feels like a Last of Us kind of artistic style,
Mm-hmm.
where it's like not fully realistic, but it's pretty dang close. And there's so basically you're playing as these two guys that are in jail, and you're trying to break out. Hence the name A Way Out. And
Are they brothers?
they're not brothers, but it's just a ton of like quick time events. It's just a ton of just hold R2 to open this door. Someone goes and finds this tire while you jack the car up to put the tire on, then drop the tire. It's just a bunch of puzzle solving through co-op play, which has made it more fun than I think it would be by itself, obviously, because it's designed that way. I think you can only play it co-op, which is neat. So it's bringing people back to the couch, or you can play online if you want to with somebody else. And I don't know, you might not even need another copy of the game to play online. Like I could do, you know how you can do PS4
The share
remote play,
the
or
remote
whatever.
play. Yeah, I know.
Where I could share your screen. So I would share it with you, and you could control one character, and I can control the other character, and we can do it that way. So it's only $30, which makes the initial purchase less painful as well. If this was a full price game, I would have been like, this is not worth it.
I feel like it's definitely a one and done kind of game, so that's definitely good.
Yeah, so I've been playing that. We streamed that, and I have been playing a ton of board games, actually. So Hannah and I...
I've seen some Instagram stories.
Yeah, we are not... We get home from work, and I'm just, staring at a computer screen all day, and then I don't want to immediately watch TV or something else.
Right.
And, it's funny because I play video games all the time, too, but it's like, really, I only play on the weekends.
A little bit different.
And so... I was like, we need to do something else. And so I found a whole bunch of 2-player board games, and we played a lot of this game called Hive, which I like a lot. We're playing Seven Wonders Duel, which is like a resource management kind of game. It has like a picture of like a knight with like a shield on the front of it, and it's kind of like you're going through different ages and trying to stack up a bunch of stuff, and basically beat the other person to a military victory, it's proficiency like victory where like you have more knowledge than a person, or you just outlast them and have more points at the end. And
I think I've played that game. I'll have to look at it.
Yeah, you've probably played the board game. This is like the 2-person version of that. But yeah, we're just playing a ton of board games, and it's awesome. I love it. Yeah, it's just such a fun change up, and it's just fun for her too, because like she likes games, but she won't play video games with me too often. The most she'll play is like Mario Kart or oh gosh, what's the other one?
Need for Speed.
Overcooked.
Okay.
The one where you cook all the steaks and you got to run around, and you may not have seen it. It's very funny. Well, anyways, that's what I'm playing right now, guys.
Cool.
We're gonna be right back with the news segment, so stay tuned. I didn't do that right. There we go. And we're back.
It's less creepy.
Yeah, that was a long one, though. It's kind of held on too long. How's that in your ears? Was it pretty good in your ears?
It was wonderful.
That was pretty gross. So I'm trying these live transitions right now, and I can't figure out why it won't transition and then jump directly into just the video again after I play it on the screen. I got to figure it out.
You're asking the wrong guy now.
Still messing around with it a little bit.
I don't know anything about this.
I got so much
stuff.
tech, man. So much tech back here.
You wouldn't believe. I mean, you can only see us in the screen, but there's like 30 computers on the other side of the screen.
1 million computers.
I just noticed you're using your TV as a monitor. I was like, that is a massive monitor. It's a TV.
Yeah, it's my TV. Yeah.
Gotcha.
There you go. Technology, baby.
I've only been here for like an hour. So.
All right, so first up on the news segment, Sega Genesis Classic Collection has been announced for PS4, Xbox One, and PC. Actually, I don't know about PC.
Really?
But definitely for PS4 and Xbox One. It will include more than 50 games from the company's iconic 16-bit Genesis system, or the Mega Drive for those outside North America. Fans can expect Sonic the Hedgehog and Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Shining Force, Virtua Fighter 2, and several games in the Phantasy Star and Streets of Rage series. Check out some of the games coming in the trailer if you want to see it later. It was unexpected when Sega announced this, and I don't know, because they announced like their Sega. I'm almost positive that there was like a Genesis like flashback console that they announced, or maybe that's the Atari I'm thinking of. but so many people are trying to get in on this like whole collection thing lately.
Yep.
How do you feel about this? Would you pick this up?
No.
Yeah.
I have zero interest in it. Then again, as I'm sure I've discussed before on this show, the first console I ever had was, well, technically I had a PC, but that was only like 2 games I played, Age of Empires and something else. And then the first console that I had was an Xbox, so I missed out on the whole Sega, Nintendo, all that stuff as a kid.
My friends had Segas growing up, but yeah, again, I don't have
Couldn't
any.
even tell you what one looked like.
Okay, well, you can probably you'd probably see a picture of a controller and be like, I recognize that.
Okay.
But yeah, this is cool for people that like Sonic. Maybe you could check this out. It's interesting that it's coming to PS4 and Xbox One. It's just funny thinking about so many years ago when Sega was a console making company and they were competing with Nintendo, and that was pretty much it. And then Nintendo just killed them, and now they're making games for anybody that will take them, essentially, because they own like a few good properties still, and Sonic just won't go away. But Sonic is here to stay, and they're just releasing it again on new consoles, which is actually pretty cool. Because I'm sure we've had Sonic in some idea or some way on other previous consoles, but pretty interesting that we're getting this. So check that out. I'm not sure on the release date on that one. I don't think I wrote it down on here, so. Just look for that if you guys like Sonic. Congratulations, and Virtua Fighter 2 and Shining Force.
I know what Phantasy Star is. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's like a big RPG, and it was like I think it was the first online RPG or something like that.
Really? Yeah. I want to say I've got a really cool isn't the main ship in the game like a kind of like a combo ship of like a starship and like a pirate ship sort of thing?
Yeah, there's something cool.
Something like that.
There's something cool.
I think I've got one of the like Game Informer covers from it or something like that.
Yeah.
Or it's like an ad because I just thought it was really cool.
Phantasy Star was a big deal. It was a big deal when it released on the Sega. So that makes sense that you would probably recognize that. Microsoft is going its own direction for E3 this year. The bulk of its demos and its press briefing, which has previously frequently been at the Galen Center, will occur across the street from the convention center in the Microsoft Theater.
In LA?
Yeah.
Okay.
So at E3, normally it's like all the publishers and developers there talking about all their new consoles or their new games they're releasing. And as we've just over the course of time, we've seen developers take a different route with this and say, you know what, I don't want to have to pay you a ton of money to showcase my games. Like, I'm just going to go across the street while everyone's here, save a ton of money, and have my own controlled environment, where it's just basically all Xbox over there, which makes a ton of sense. Whether this is good for press and news outlets remains to be seen. It's not that it's like literally a street over, I think. So, I don't think it's a big deal that they're having to go to a different building
not
for
at all.
this. But it is
maybe to some people, but
this kind of worries me because like my dream is to go to E3, but I feel like by the time I actually get there, it's not even going to be a thing. It's just going to be a bunch of like different people sitting in different areas. I guarantee you every single year they're still going to have a gaming centered event in LA, but it's not all going to be in one place, which I always thought was really cool.
But you can't I thought it was only open to press now. Like you can't just.
Yeah, well, so it's different. So the public access gets you access to the floor, and you can try a bunch of game demos and do a bunch of stuff like that. But the actual press briefings where they're announcing a bunch of this stuff,
Only press.
Yeah, only press can sit in there,
brief.
and then they have like obviously TVs and a bunch of other stuff for like public can just watch what's going on. But yeah,
Gotcha.
I want to be in the room where it happens.
Of course.
Just like the Hamilton song.
Right.
No one else was in the room where it happens. All right. So there's that. Fortnite. We talked about this, and I think we might have covered most of it, but recently they released a just one-to-one reproduction of the game on iOS, and it topped charts in 47 countries in less than 24 hours.
Yeah. More than Pokemon Go, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Which is just stupid, but makes sense because it's free once again.
Yeah.
Why
not?
It's just
It's not play to win, but you can make purchases in games. That's obviously how they're making their money, and then all sorts of other ways.
They're making so much money, and I would even argue that they're going to make more money in the mobile version because that's where kids are accustomed to in-app purchases.
Yeah,
just buying stuff.
Yeah.
I dropped my phone.
Yeah, I'm sure the parents are loving that right now.
Yeah, this is insane.
Why is charging my account from Apple for $200? My God.
Oh, my son bought a new parachute.
Fortnite?
What is this parachute in this night skin you bought? How much was this? Dear Lord. Yeah, so this is hard for me because I don't like Fortnite. I don't like it. I'm sorry for everyone out there who likes Fortnite.
I still haven't played it at all, so
it's fine. I just have a hard time getting into it because I suck. That's probably what it is. I just suck at this game. And, I talked to somebody else. I ran into a friend, a good friend of the show, Wes Bursch, shout out. He was walking into Target, and I was like, and we were just talking about whatever. And he asked about Fortnite, and he's like, actually, I have PC and PS4. He's like, but I play Fortnite on PS4 because the people on PC are insane. He's like, I never win on PC. I don't even get close. Yeah. He's like, but on PS4, at least, sometimes do pretty well. Yeah.
I could imagine playing PUBG on PC. I'd get just obliterated.
Yeah, and that made me feel worse. I was like, okay, so I really suck on PS4, and I can't do anything. And then you're saying that like you play PS4 because you win more. I'm like, oh man, I suck. And I really am just not good at this game. So I don't know. There's not much else to say beyond about Fortnite beyond the fact that it's everywhere. But my question to you is, how long do you think this is going to last? Like, how long do you think Fortnite's going to be around? Or, like, we're going to keep seeing this game pop up?
A year and a half before something else comes along and replaces it. Somebody out there is working on something.
I'm thinking...
Or PUBG could just release its full version and then, come out of nowhere and swipe it. But it's going to take a minute for Fortnite to get out of the news.
I'm thinking less than that, man. Yeah. I'm thinking end of the year. There's something else that's replaced it probably.
Okay. All right.
Because like just with the way I've seen culture like wrap their arms around something, it comes and goes so fast.
Yeah, we are in that age nowadays where, something was news for
a month or two.
Well, not even that, maybe a week at the most, and then it's gone.
And they're over it. Yeah. So, yeah, I foresee Fortnite probably dropping in popularity very soon here. It'll still have an audience on Twitch. People will still watch it.
Yeah.
But I would say by the end of I'm going to make a bold guess here. I'm going to say end of 2018, I imagine Fortnite will have been eclipsed by something else.
I would say end of 2019 before it really just teeters off completely and just you don't see anything else from it.
Man.
Because it's big. And, it does have that. To me, it's kind of like a Call of Duty. In a way where it's built itself up and, it's just kind of blown everything else out of the water, even though it's pretty much PUBG with building.
Right.
Get that straight.
And how long can you watch something that
is the
really is the same experience? I mean, or how long can you play something that's like that? Because that's my thing is,
I thought I'd get burnt out on PUBG fast, and then, I figured, I'd play PUBG for a few weeks and maybe get burnt out on it. I'm still okay with it.
And that could be what it is. Like, it's just maybe like the loop is just addictive enough for people to keep coming back to it.
Very addictive.
And that's the same with Fortnite, but
just because every game is so no two games can be similar in any way, shape, or form. You could land in the same area, but no matter what, the outcome will be different. And so I guess that's what's fun is that it's a consistently changing game. Like Call of Duty, you can always play the same map and one team will win or the other team will win.
Yeah, and you always play the same chokes, and it's always like the same areas where you know to go.
You have the same gun, and
you can memorize everything.
The thing is, whenever you drop into PUBG or Fortnite, you don't know what you're getting into. You don't know what's around the next corner, and I guess that's what makes it exciting is just all the variables that come into play.
That makes sense.
So, but I agree with you ultimately that I give it a year and a half before it really just goes completely.
But think about like Dota and like all those huge MOBA games that people play, League, stuff like that. Those have been around for a long time. Like Counter-Strike Go.
And people but they're not as prominent. Like even CS:GO, people play and they've got. I think that Fortnite will become a tournament game, no doubt. But CS:GO, Dota, all that good League of Legends, they're all.
How would Fortnite even become a tournament game, though? That's the thing. It's like
to get 100 dudes in a room.
That'd be kind of cool to see, actually, like competitive.
But you can do squads and stuff, so you could definitely make it to where there were competitive teams.
Yeah, and I've seen like crazy things where you can do like.
Actually, correct me if I'm wrong. PUBG, you can do singles, duos, triples, squads. So.
And I've seen like even crazier modes, like sometimes like 50 and 50 and stuff like that.
They've talked about doing 50 on 50 PUBG.
That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Fortnite's here and it is everywhere. And if you've, like me, have heard about it so much that you're kind of getting sick of it now, I say we got another 6 months of this, or maybe like end of the year. And Cameron thinks 2019. So Well, let's tune back in, and then at the end of 2018 to see how dumb I sound when Fortnite's like literally everywhere. And then last one on the list. This is actually pretty cool, and I don't know if it was in time, but EA finally gave up. As a part of a major overhaul to the game's progression system, Battlefront 2 will now give all players immediate access to every hero and their respective hero ships. This change comes as EA also prepares to remove star cards from loot crates and limits microtransactions to cosmetics, and is one more step towards earning the goodwill of players burned by the game's earlier, greedier mistakes. That comes by way, I think, of GameSpot. And I remember, who sent this article to us? Was it Eric sent it to us?
Yes, I think so. They're screwed no matter what. I mean, they've dug themselves a hole.
It's just too late.
Yeah, you nailed
It's too late.
you hit the nail on the head. Yeah,
It's too late. But I feel so bad for these. I feel so bad for the guys that worked in this game. No, the guys that worked on the game, that built this game.
Yeah,
because the game is like, it's gorgeous. The sound design is amazing. They made a story. They did everything right. And then the big dogs in the business were like, all right, now.
How can we bend?
Let's ruin everything with microtransactions, and the poor guys that spent hours and hours and hours making sure that one random alien tree looked fantastic in this game is like, well, crap, that sucks. No one's playing my game that I worked so hard on, and everyone hates us. This is a good.
They like go home at night. People spray painted their cars.
No, seriously, like people are nasty, man. Like there are some folks out there that don't understand that there are humans that make these games and have lives and have families, and like gamers. And this is an article I posted the other day, but like toxicity in gaming culture is nasty, man. There's just people that don't get it. They just, all they see is the game, and they don't understand, like, hey, a normal person helped make this. And as soon as you stay in like F EA, F everyone, I'm gonna go kill whoever decided to put microtransactions in here. It's like, okay, guys,
that's actually illegal.
Let's step it back a little bit. But unfortunately for EA, like, this is a good move, and I think anybody that maybe was trying to vote with their wallets is probably pleased to see this, saying like, okay, Battlefront 2 is like, now it's actually a game where I can get in and get the things that I want. And I think for a standalone Star Wars experience, like, if this game drops in price a little bit later in the next coming months, or it's offered up on like some sort of discount, I would absolutely pick this game up, probably just because I like Star Wars.
Yeah,
but I think it is a little bit too late now, unfortunately. I can't imagine what Battlefront 3 looks like for them.
Probably not good. Probably not bright. I take that back. As long as Disney keeps turning out the Star Wars movies, they won't have any trouble. Money. Yeah, they won't have any trouble. They'll be fine.
Well, and what stinks is, this was supposed to be, Battlefront 2 was supposed to be kind of a, hey, we're sorry about Battlefront 1.
We're sorry about how terrible this game is.
Because there was no story.
We're going to make it up to you.
Okay, but here, we gave you a story, but now you can't really, you have to pay to like actually have fun with this game. And everyone's like, what the heck? So it's unfortunate that Star Wars has gotten this treatment so far. However, I do know, I'm pretty positive that there are some new Star Wars games in the works, and I think we'll see some pretty cool stuff come out of that.
I wish that one Star Wars game,
the single player, I know you're talking about.
It was a 4-digit number. I wish that had gone to development.
I guarantee you they're probably trying to figure that out and like dredge it back up a little bit, because I think Disney, and I don't know if this is true or not, but Disney might sever its ties with EA.
Okay.
And try something else with a different developer to make a single player campaign. So we'll see what happens with that. And I'm sure after this, they were like probably at
Call of Duty Star Wars,
looking it over. Yes, probably better than freaking Battlefield 2 or Battlefront. Sorry. Well, that is the end of our news segment. So we are going to be right back with our final main topic of the show, which is Far Cry 5 and pushing the envelope of storytelling. BRB. Oh, and we are freaking back. Yes. Sorry for super loud, guys. I have not figured that transition out yet. It's really difficult.
People are like going deaf right now.
Dear Lord, oh my gosh. So Far Cry 5 comes out today.
Tomorrow. Today.
today
Oh, I'm
because
sorry.
you're listening
Yeah,
to it today. And there's so when this game initially, I think we talked about it on a couple podcasts back, but this game focuses on America, and specifically this weird subset of America that is sort of closely related to like extremists, like right wings, who like just want to kill people, and they use religion as their reasoning for a lot of this stuff. And
Christian extremist.
Yeah. And so, and you're playing, I think, as an individual who's always trying to stop that. But reading just some basic reviews so far, people have said that there's another group that's also trying to combat that as well. So you have these two, and it sounds a lot like Far Cry 4 in terms of like you have one group, and then you have this other bad group, and you're this dingus in the middle who's just like, I'm going to save everybody.
Yeah.
So
you play as a sheriff's deputy for Hope County,
okay.
Montana. Yep.
Okay, so you read into it a little bit. Okay,
I read
good.
into it.
So does the story interest you?
Absolutely. Yeah. I love this. That was a weird. It got a really weird echo. Do you?
That was me. Yeah, that was
okay,
the springs.
Yeah. So this is like right up my alley as far as even outside of video gaming, like real life documentaries and stories and things that have happened in the past with religious extremism, whether it be Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, whatever it may be. That it fascinates me whenever people go, over the edge and go wackos and really get into something to the point where they become like a problem for society. To me, in fact, it's interesting because I'm watching a document. It's kind of a little side note. Watching a documentary right now on Netflix called it's a Wild Wild Country, and it is about I can never remember the guy's name. It's some Indian. He was a guru in India back in the 60s and 70s.
Okay, I was going to say it's not Gandhi, yeah?
No. This was right after Jim Jones and the Jonestown mass poisoning. It's like Bakim or Barim or something like that.
Okay.
Anyways, it talks about how he influenced all these people from all over the world. I mean, there's Australians, Americans, everybody to come to India and to come and live with him because of this psychotherapy that he was doing for them. And then he took off from there and moved to a camp in Oregon. And they built like this giant camp for like 10,000 people, had all these work. Haven't finished it yet, so I can't ruin it for anyone or can't ruin it for myself. I'd never heard of it before, which I was kind of disappointed in. Interesting enough, our good friend Mary Alice Osment has been to this camp.
Really?
It's now a Young Life camp in Oregon.
What?
Yes, kind of crazy. So anyways,
oh my goodness.
Going back to my point is this stuff really interests me. So I'm excited to see the story. Far Cry 4's story wasn't that bad. It wasn't like out of this world. But
you didn't really. So that's what I was going to talk to you about next.
Yeah.
So yeah, this story on a base level is very interesting to me because it comes at a very trying time in America where we are experiencing obviously not as extreme stuff as this, but we are experiencing some of this stuff where people
it's extremism.
Take up with something and then completely go overboard. However, from what I've read so far and from what I understand, this game appears to not. It doesn't take that story really anywhere, unfortunately. And so that's where this question comes up of pushing the envelope of storytelling. So they had a unique opportunity to tell a really scary and like sort of true story of like what would happen sort of in this situation and how like these militia cults could like take over potentially. But apparently I think they didn't want to push the envelope too far and offend a bunch of people. And I completely understand that, but it's unfortunate that they washed it down a ton. Like they watered it down a lot, apparently, like where the storyline doesn't matter at all. It's really stupid.
Really?
And
that's disappointing.
And a lot of it is just sandbox stuff again, which is fine, which is what Far Cry really excels in, is just giving you the keys to this crazy world where you can fight a bear and a bunch of extremists and squirrel suit into an area and snipe people out, and it's great.
Squirrel suits. Oh
yeah,
God, I'm so
it's great.
excited.
It's like that's been some of the most fun that I had. Like when we first got our PS4s and we were playing Far Cry 4, I was like, this is dope. Like those first couple of missions where we were trying to like be really serious about it. Like you were on one hill and I was on the other hill, and we're like, all right, be like mark our targets and say, all right, 3, 2, 1, go.
Synchronized shots, all that good stuff.
It was really like,
and then like scroll shooting into a base and just.
We felt really cool, and like
Lord.
Far Cry excels in those environments, and I imagine it'll be the same here, just a bunch of crazy action. But it bums me out, and some people have given this game great reviews because it is fun just for that reason. It's just a fun game, good dynamics, good design. But unfortunately, like if they had taken a bit more care to like really push the envelope with just a bit more storytelling. And telling almost a hauntingly true story of kind of how we've gotten to this point in America and really use some of the stuff we've seen in culture, like it would have been really cool to have something like that in a Far Cry game. And I can't think of any like really that many more games that have done that. And I put down some examples here. The one that I thought of immediately was Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. The scene, is that Modern Warfare 2?
Yes, and you know what? I didn't even see that side note. And whenever you were talking about games pushing the envelope, not offending people, that's the first thing that came to my mind.
And that might have been like really offensive to some people, and I know it was offensive to some people. And there was probably some backlash. I think Trump used it in his most recent video of like why video games are bad.
Yeah.
But so for anyone who doesn't know the Call of Duty example. That came, I don't know how many years after 9/11.
That came many years after. That was 2000, and I went to basic training the year that Modern Warfare 2 came out, so that would have been November of 2009.
Yeah, 2009 maybe?
Yep. No, it was.
That sounds about right.
It was.
Yeah.
Because I got it right before I left. Anyways.
So about 8 years removed from 9/11, but terrorism was still very much a thing that people, especially in America, were just like...
And airports, too.
Yeah, and airports.
Were a big thing.
But you have this game where you're playing as
Infinity Ward really pushed
a terrorist, and you run through an airport and shoot a bunch of people. That's a situation where I'm like, how did someone not look at this particular set piece and be like, I don't know what we're trying to make the player feel here. Maybe we should leave this in or leave it out.
They gave you an option.
And they did. Yeah, you didn't have to kill anybody.
I think that... go out on a branch. I think it was a good level. I think it was a good thing to put in the game.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it really, in a virtual world, kind of puts you in those shoes of you're about to commit mass murder.
Mm-hmm.
Can you pull the trigger? And just like the whole psychological process that goes behind that, and what the game's trying to get you to understand is like you're going deep undercover and you're having to act out what it's Makarov.
I forgot you were playing as an undercover person.
Yeah, you're an undercover. Let's see here. Shepard steals you from the Rangers, reassigns you, puts you undercover under Makarov, and so like that's the whole premise of it is like you're faking being a Russian terrorist, and so you have to go shoot up this airport with these guys because you're trying to get to Makarov.
And I remember like
he figures you out at the end of the mission. He turns around, he kills you. He says something about how he knows who you are and shoots you.
Yeah. So yeah, and I think that really you had a good viewpoint there. I appreciate that. Thank you for saying that. Where you're putting somebody in the shoes of, even though it is a video game, there are very real emotions associated with just killing wrongly. Like it's weird.
I still remember. I can see it clear as day. The first scene, whenever you walk out of that elevator and you've got a
huge heavy machine gun.
You've got a saw machine gun, and you open fire on these people. You can't forget that moment. And
when I remember, I think at first not being sure of what I was supposed to do, I was like walking real slow, and I was like, "What am I doing right now?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm like with the bad guys right now." And I was like,
"Yep."
I was like, "Oh," and they're shooting everyone. I was like, "Oh gosh, this is horrible." And I don't think I shot anybody, but I was just like, "This is so bad. This is so bad." And I just remember that distinctly. So, if a game like Call of Duty, which is really just popcorn video games, is a way to describe
nowadays, don't offend Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah.
Modern Warfare 2
well, you'll get your release. You'll be released a remaster here this year.
God, I can't wait.
And I heard good news. I think they're going to release it by itself, not do that stupid package thing where you have to buy the other game to get the Modern Warfare original. I wish Far Cry would take a bold step that way. I think I think it's worth telling a compelling story that makes people think than just washing it down.
Yeah, and that's
watering it down.
That's what I'm getting at. Is like that level made you think. In this game, I'm upset that it's not going to make me think. I mean, and the other interesting thing is that it's talking about Christian extremism, which is not as prominent anymore. Or I shouldn't say it's prominent because it's not like a cool thing or anything.
Yeah.
You know, back in the 70s, 80s, before Islamic extremism really became like after 9/11, obviously, it became like a big focus. You had several years where this was kind of a thing, and now
the KKK and stuff like that.
Yeah, and now it's kind of gone to the wayside, and we focus a lot on, especially nowadays, Islamic extremism, especially with all the problems that Europe is having with religious groups and their craziness. Anyways, so they had a good chance to talk about the side of things that's not talked about a whole lot, and it would really be a new perspective on something that's not.
It'd be such an interesting perspective, and like I just think about all the cool moments you could have where you're just like, you meet somebody who is a part of this like religious subset, but they're a normal person, and they're like really nice and they help you, and you're like, oh. It's like, so you're a normal person. And then you meet the other person that's like part of like the militia that's like out here just murdering everyone and is totally crazy. And you're like, oh, I hate this guy. And like, don't typecast these people. And there's just so many things that could have been really interesting. And unfortunately, just from what I've heard, it's a great game. It's Far Cry through and through. It's fun. But it's not like the story that they could have told just is not there, and it comes across just very not lazy, but just like soft. Like cool. Because like when you see the main antagonist in this film or in this game, he's doing like a bunch of like pretty messed up things. Like he's like scratching like cinder into the back of people and like burning things and like just all like gluttony on like and like those I think those scenes will probably be in the game.
Did you see any of the story trailers? Where
I've
you're
seen
like
a few.
Where you're like whenever that girl's like leading you through the field and he's like standing there like all majestic like, and then it switches to the scenes where he's cutting into people and he's carving, like you said, center into people, where he's like shooting people. It was so compelling.
Far Cry does a great job of making a a great antagonist.
Yeah.
Somebody you really do want to get after.
Somebody you really want to kill.
But
like
unfortunately,
that douchebag in Far Cry 4, like we wanted to kill that guy. We hated that guy.
What was it? Pan.
Oh my lord.
Pagan Min. I think it was Pagan Min. That sounds right.
Something like that.
So, I mean, I don't know. So I asked you yesterday, or you asked me if I was going to pick up Far Cry, and I said I don't know you, and you said absolutely yes.
Yes, absolutely.
And are you still on that boat where you're still part of?
Yeah, I gotta have it. I think the game will be fun no matter what. I think it'll be fun enough to where it, even if the story is not that great, oh well, we'll get. Are you
going Xbox or PS4?
I don't know.
That's the question.
That's why I asked you, because I was like, do I want to get it for PS4 if Jake's going to buy it?
I feel like that's going to be hard for you to decide now, because honestly, if I was you, and I had a 4K system,
I kind of wanted it.
I would Xbox, I would buy everything 4K.
I was telling Eric, I was like, I want to play this with Jake, but at the same time, I really want this for my Xbox One.
Yeah,
so I can play this in full like 4K.
Oh, do you have an Xbox One X? Mm-hmm. Okay, sorry, you said Xbox One, and I the Xbox. Sorry,
the one. I forget. There's like two different types.
X, and then the original. Yeah.
Yeah.
Eric was over here. We were playing A Way Out, and he was like, "Man, this does not look good. Like, this game does not look good." And he's like, I've gotten so used to playing 4K. And I'm like,
we are incredibly spoiled by it.
And it's so funny because I don't have 4K anything. So for me, well, I guess my computer is like 5K or something like that. I don't even know how that's even possible. But that's the only thing I have. It's like super high def. And I do notice like going from that to my like computer at work, and I'm like, this doesn't look anywhere near as good as my computer at home.
Don't have one of those nice new MacBook Pros?
No,
like Spencer
only Spencer got those. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he's a brand manager, dude. He's got to have that nice stuff.
He doesn't do anything.
Like good tech. Yeah, he doesn't. He just makes Facebook pictures.
He's just making Facebook pictures.
Well, really, I mean, that's all I want to talk about. Far Cry.
This is an interesting point. What makes Far Cry unique from games like The Division or GTA?
Yeah. Sorry. And I'll give you some preface on this. So Far Cry is a sandbox game where you can play co-op with people or just single player and go through it. Division's the same way. It's a co-op game, but it's a bit more military heavy based, and I believe it's third person.
The
right?
Division?
Was the Division third person?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I was like, didn't you play that game?
Yeah, I just couldn't remember for a second. And then GTA, same concept, open sandbox, like to the extreme though.
Yeah.
So like, what makes Far Cry unique from these other games?
The Division does not have the stealth element. You can't really play the Division. I mean, you can play the Division by yourself. It's not as fun. Far Cry also is more fun with the second person. The stealth aspect is not very strong in either the Division or GTA. GTA is very focused on vehicles.
Yeah, you're right.
Far Cry is more focused on combat. The Division, I'm not sure what it was focused on. Gameplay, definitely, but it's a little bit more strategic combat with the Division. Versus Far Cry gives you kind of the option of you can either be super stealthy and no one will ever know you were there, or you can go in guns blazing and blow everything into the living hell.
Yeah, I think the Division had an element of stealth as well. You could do like stealth missions and stuff and take people out, but man, the Division, it feels so long ago now.
It was long.
I had fun with that game when we played it. When there was like the four of us that were playing. It was me, you, Eric, and anybody else?
Josh, maybe?
There was one other person that had it. I feel like it might have been Brock, maybe. I can't remember who else had it with us.
I think it was Brock.
But yeah. So when I think of Far Cry,
did you drop your phone again?
No, that was my shoe hitting my chair. The one thing I'm thinking about with Far Cry is it is so varied in how you can approach situations, and like while I think it specializes in that, where like you can pick however you want to approach a situation. Like the Division was pretty straightforward. Like pretty much you have these few hallways you can go through.
Yeah, you have to go this way.
And you can hide behind cover, and you just got to keep shooting this guy a lot and hope that he dies. GTA has a lot of variety with its missions, but almost so much in the fact that like you could be doing a mission, but you could go wherever you want to go. There's no there's no restriction to where you.
Well, like I said, GTA is really focused on its vehicles, and so it's heavily influenced by vehicle combat, all that good stuff. Far Cry is not that way.
I don't think we gave GTA enough of a shake either in terms of like the co-op stuff. We tried a few of the heists, and they're so hard. Like that was the problem with those heists, is like they were way too hard.
It's very hard to make money on that game. I played online for a little bit. It's very hard to.
They should have had like an easy an easy setting.
I'm surprised people aren't upset about it the way people were upset about Battlefront, but
yeah, I would have preferred like an easy setting, saying like, hey, like you're gonna make way less money doing it this way. Learn the map, learn the game, learn the missions, so that way when you try it on hard or medium, you don't have to like remember learn as you go through, and it's just really difficult. I think that would have been a better approach, and I think they did have like something like that where it was like 2 different game modes, but like even the simplest one was super hard. I remember us struggling on that forever. So for me, yeah, I don't know. Far Cry in general, I can't decide if I want to buy it or not yet.
No.
I just don't know.
That's fair.
There's so many games coming out up in these next couple of months. Like I have Kirby, and I need to finish that with Matt. And there's a couple of other games I just got to look into. But all in all, I want to hear what you think for like a week from now.
Yeah.
After you played a little bit of Far Cry, and get it on Xbox if you need to, or do what you want to do. And I'll just get it for PS4. Josh likes Xbox, but he probably can't play anymore because he has a son.
Yeah, but I'm going to try to get Eric to get it on Xbox. That way we both can play together. Though Spencer picked up Sea of Thieves yesterday. I don't know if he talked to you about it all yesterday. So Eric's kind of been on the Sea of Thieves boat.
You should get Sea of Thieves too. I think you'd have fun with it.
I watched Spencer play it, and I was like, yeah, it looks like it'd be fun for a little bit, but I could see myself getting bored with it.
That's what everyone's said so far about Sea of Thieves, unfortunately. Yeah. Where it is very much you get in, and it's a lot of fun with people, and you do a few missions, and it's funny. And then you get out, but like, how many times do you really want to do that?
Keep doing that.
Yeah.
One more note to Far Cry, something that I thought was interesting, and what also adds an interesting element to the backstory to the game itself. Before, Far Cry has been set on tropical islands. Classically, Far Cry was always on a tropical island. Then it was in Africa, and then it was in the Himalayas in some fake country where Nepal and Bhutan is. Anyways. They're bringing this one back to the United States. Not many people have traveled out of the United States, so they really have no concept of what any of those areas look like.
This is true.
We know what we know what the U.S. looks like. We know what Montana generally looks like. we've been to Colorado. I've been out west. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
people have been, most parts of the. So it'll be interesting to see how well the developers took that and made it into a virtual reality.
I have heard good things about the actual set pieces, just in terms of using the Montana nature, and I mean, Far Cry has always been very good about that as well. Like even with Far Cry 4, it was really cool being able to go up into the mountains, like those huge, like I don't even know what mountains those were, the Himalayan mountains, I guess, and then like scroll suiting down, and there's mountains in Montana too, so I think we'll be a lot of scroll suiting in this one as well.
Oh, heck yeah.
There better be, but. Yeah, from what I've heard it's a very beautiful game, and I imagine if you have, I think is it 4K capable?
Oh, it's got to be. It'd be crazy not to. I'm going to look it up after we get done because I was wondering that myself.
I imagine most games after the X have come out that they release for it probably have the ability to do that. Most probably have the ability to do that. So, well, there you have it, folks. Far Cry 5. If you were picking it up today, let us know what you think about it. You can comment on this podcast on YouTube, or you can just reach us at BitCast@BitBloggist.com. So, unfortunately, that is the end of the podcast. Remember, BitCast is a weekly podcast that covers most things video games and pop culture. Cameron, thank you so much for being here, dog.
Not a problem, man. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was a great time. I'm all jacked up on caffeine right now.
So am I.
Gotta somehow drink some more water and tone myself down. But if you are a listener to the show, be sure to go to BitBloggist.com. I just did some edits there. It looks a lot more clean now, where we have each of the things we produce listed in order. Follow us on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook. I would recommend Facebook because I just post a lot more there, and I feel like I can write more and actually let you guys know what's going on. Send topic suggestions or really just anything else you want to talk about to bitcast@bitbloggist.com. I'll be happy to read those and respond on the show. And be sure to go to twitch.tv/BitBloggist. Give us a follow there, where we'll be doing some streams every now and then. I think our next one's going to be Kirby Star Allies. So stay tuned for that.
Nice.
Until next time, this has been BitCast. Thanks for tuning in to talk about some stuff.